Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Tanya.
I like your roots.
Oh yeah, aren't they gorgeous?
Like mine?
Yeah, the latest in style today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Tanya Wayne, and I'm here at the Glass Emotion Studio in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, to talk to Crystal Loke today about an exciting new tutorial that she is about to release. Do you know what today is?
Tanya, it's National Tartan Day.
So let's start by asking you how you first got started designing tartans in glass.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a roundabout way, but I actually started looking at tartans when I was researching my own family ancestry. I herald back to the 1600s from John McBean.
Oh, I thought you were Ukrainian.
My mom's Ukrainian. My dad was a pirate. But yeah, so John McBean actually he was captured during one of the big clan wars, and he was brought to North America as an indentured servant, and he made his way. So you know,
you came from royalty.
Yeah, not royalty. I don't think. But tartans are a big part of Scottish heritage, and you know, if you're researching your ancestry, looking at tartans, it becomes a fascination, as well as all the clan crest and everything else that goes along with it. So I did start there, and then I found I was very interested in how could I replicate tartans in a glass format, infused glass specifically. And so I started looking at different methods, different techniques that were available on the, in the glass world. And I decided that I needed to come up with something of my own because it didn't quite do what I wanted. As I was working through that, I wanted to make a gift for my Aunt Jean. Aunt Jean, married name is Scrimger. And the Scrimger tartan, which you can actually see here, it's a little difficult to see because it's a little dark, but this was a beautiful tartan, and in the light it actually just shines, and we had quite a time coming up with colors and matching colors that were in her family tartan to what I could do with glass. So, you know, a bit of a roundabout way, but I decided if I could do it for Scrimger and I could do it for McBean, why not do it for other clan names as well.
So what's your favorite part about making these tartans?
Well, I think you know me, Tanya. I'm a bit OCD, and
very bit OCD.
Very bit, yeah. And I really enjoy the intricate nature of laying it out. And that's the artistic side of my brain. On the other side of my brain, I'm very analytical. So it kind of made sense because actually the designing of the tartan and how you're laying it out is a very detailed process. You have to calculate certain things and translate that into glass. So it's an interesting process. And
what is the difference between a tartan, a plaid, and a check?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's fascinating because if you Google it, there's so many articles on it. So this is very near and dear to any Scots heart, and the whole discussion around tartans and plaids. So Tanya, actually you're wearing a plaid today. So a plaid is basically, it is a repetitive pattern, but it's usually done in multiple colors. For instance, where's my guy? So some of you might know the Burberry tartan. Well, actually, sorry, I must correct myself. This is a Burberry plaid. So he's very cute and it's very recognizable. But a tartan, while it is still a plaid by definition, a tartan is a repetitive pattern that is done in sets. And the thing that distinguishes a tartan from a plaid is that it has significance. So every tartan has a name. It's associated with a family, clan family name. And the name and the design go back so far in history that it just is part of their ancestry. So tartan, plaid, and a check. And a check is generally two colors. That's really hard to see on the screen, but it's only two colors. But it's a check. It's not a plaid and it's not a tartan. Make sense?
Makes sense. How difficult is it to master the process?
Well, technically speaking, actually the physical act of laying out the stringers, and you'll be working with hundreds depending on how large a piece you're doing. It's a very methodical, I find it a very zen task because I can get lost in it and I can just sit there and really concentrate on that. Kind of like a mantra you say over and over to yourself. The design, the research and the design of the actual sets and how you kind of reverse engineer it and as well
take it apart, take it back together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can look at on this piece of tartan and you could count every thread and every color. So like there's 4 whites.
That's
and,
OC.
yeah. But there are other ways to do this, and that's one of the things I'm going to be showing you how to do in the video that I'm going to be doing. I'll also show you how to enlarge this set so that you can do it in a larger piece. I've done a piece as large as 37 inches by 12, which somebody put in a transom above their window in a kitchen. Turned out it was beautiful.
Huge.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a lot of work, but you had to be able to extrapolate that set to a larger set so it would look better in a larger format.
Yep. Interesting. How long does it take to go from this tartan to a beautiful piece like this?
Yeah, that is one of my favorite pieces. I'm so glad it went to your
my
home.
piece, that's why.
But just to kind of go back, this is not unusual, but one of the things I specifically like about this piece is the ragged edge. So it does look like a thread. But to your question, Tanya, to go from a design, a piece of a tartan that you might have or that you've researched, to where you're actually laying out, that's the longest piece, right? And I'll spend most of my upfront time researching. If you're doing a large piece, it can take physically, the act of laying it out, anywhere between 6 and 12 hours. And again, it'll depend on how OCD you are.
So the work is mostly up front in the design and setting up, and then the cooking, I call it.
Yeah, cooking.
The kiln part is no different
than most
any other piece that you would use.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, if you have a small kiln, this can be done in small kilns. Pieces can be made quite small. These are some little pieces I made, and these are actually really good sellers at craft shows or any other vendor type shows, because you can sell them at a low enough price point and still make profit on. So I'm going to be showing you a lot of these different ideas and how you get to the point where you can do even stir sticks, to the point you can sell a whole set of a clan tartan.
So how is this tutorial different from the other ones that you may see?
Yeah, and when you're learning fused glass and as you're on the journey of fusing glass, I think we all do a lot of tutorials. We either take classes in person, or we buy ebooks, or we buy videos, and I think everything we learn we incorporate into the glass that we end up producing. So I'm not going to say anything I'm doing is new or different. Well, it is different because how I actually design the tartan is different from what other people are doing. So this isn't a traditional weave as some people do, and it's not a plaid, it is a tartan.
So you take them from the research part, the layout part, the firing,
Yep.
and then?
Well, really, once you're at the point where you're ready to start laying out, actually, I'm going to take it one step back, because when you're designing, and what I like to do, because stringers and glass certainly is not inexpensive, so you want to leverage the investment that you're making in stringers. So if you're doing something for craft shows, you want to pick a tartan that is maybe very predominant in your area or region. Mackenzie is a very popular name. Brown, the family name Brown, which was Brunn in the old days,
Really?
is actually one of the most popular in census data of family names. So if you're picking a tartan that's just generic, you want to pick one that is recognized as, as a tartan, and most people would know, oh, that's a Mackenzie tartan, or that's a McDonald tartan. The ones I've done for sale here is like Cape Breton. I've done the RCAF tartan. I don't know if you can see that in behind here. Some of the others that are highly recognizable is the Royal Stewart, and different ones in that vein. Also going to mention here, there's probably in the larger clan names up to 10 different varieties of a tartan.
Within the same clan.
Within the same clan. So if you look up Mackenzie, for instance, you might find 12 different tartans, all with different colors, sort of, but on the same vein, but they classify them as the ancient tartans. So remember, tartans were first done back in the 1500s. So that would be an ancient tartan. You have modern tartans, so modern day tartans. You have dress tartans, you have military tartan, you have hunting tartan. So when you're researching, and especially if you're doing a commission with someone, you want to make sure that you're discussing with your customer which tartan their family resonates with, and that's an important thing.
Will you be helping the students with framing?
Yeah. So one of the things, like for instance, this scrimger tartan, so it's the tartan piece itself is about 6 by 17, and it's 17 inches because guess what? Tartans come in 17-inch lengths. So it was better to facilitate using the full length of the stringer when I made this tartan. Adding borders and being able to accent a piece, for instance, this piece, I'm trying to remember now, I think this is a Mackenzie tartan, and adding colors, being able to then slump it into a platter makes very nice presentation. Again, these items sell well at craft shows. And some other ideas, again, another dish with another family tartan on it, highlighting it with colors that you may have in your stock. I use Oceanside 96 in my studio, but this can all be done with Bullseye as well. I'm not, it's not necessary to use a specific glass. This was another idea I had, and if you have any kind of woodworker in the family, do you see?
Cheese board?
A cheese board, and I've done several of these, and they were big sellers at Christmas, where I designed the board, and I found a woodworker who was able to make this piece and the dimensions that I wanted, and then I built the tartan to sit in, inlaid into the piece. So great holiday ideas. They're big sellers. Nice thing too is the glass comes out, so you can actually wash it.
Put it in the dishwasher?
Yeah. I mean, I would treat it like any of your good china. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't put it in and, toss it in there, but it's certainly washable.
So you use every leftover piece of the original tartan that you made?
As much as I can, even
down to swivel sticks.
Yeah, and you can't see this, but this is actually a cufflink. So, and again, it's about picking the right part of your tile when you're cutting it down into small pieces, and being able to adjust it. This was another really neat idea I did at Christmas, which was like a shield using it. It's fridge magnet.
Yes.
But you can actually take a Sharpie or a gold pen and you could write somebody's name onto here, and it's kind of a cool little gift for even young children. They like that kind of thing. But
Well, that's very informative. Last question.
Last question.
What is the cost?
Oh, God. So I do want to tell you that what I'm giving you is what I took a long time to learn. So over a lot of mistakes, a lot of
years.
I don't know, a year, because I was kind of OCD about it.
Yeah.
Over time, but it was a lot of failures, a lot of not quite right, or can I change this? Can I adapt it? So a lot of what you're getting, I'm giving to you now to help you make pieces that will sell. I think we're all trying to find ways to get through this time right now in the world.
Supplement your income.
Yep, we need to find ways, and so I wanted to be able to give you guys something that I know sells well, especially in certain markets. So there's a value associated with that, all that time. I'm going to go through as much detail as I can and give you as much information as I can. So the price. So
She doesn't like talking about price. There's a lot of information in that ad, and for what you're paying, I think it's cheap.
So between now, so right after this event, I'll be posting up on my website a video product that you can purchase prior to the actual launch date. I'll be giving a $10 off if you purchase between now and April 30th. The price will be between now and April 30th will be $135 Canadian, or for the lucky US people, based on our current dollar situation and the exchange rate, it's about $95 based on current exchange rate of the day. After April 30th, it will be going up to $150 Canadian, which works out to about 105 US dollars. I will be, and I'm going to look to you guys for input on this, is if we want to set up a little group called the Tartan and Glass group. I think it would be interesting, because if we're all working on different tartans and coming up with the designs, that we could actually share them between each other.
So for the same price, they have access to you.
Definitely.
And other people in the class.
Yeah.
Is there an expiry date on the video?
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Glass Emotions. All the videos that we're going to be doing, and there are going to be quite a few coming over this year, there's no expiration. So they'll never be taken down. You will never be denied access, and you can view it as much as you want, or come back to it. I will also be making a PDF handout. So for all the links and all of the other things that I need you to give you in order to be able to do research, I'll be giving you those in a PDF handout. So
thank you very much. Everyone, I hope you look on Crystal's website and sign up for the tutorial. I think it's a fabulous deal.
Yeah, so maybe before I say goodbye, and I know this was a really short video, but I did think it was important just to get on live and you can see my happy face. But what I wanted to say to you is tartans are a love of mine. They're a bit of a passion. I've enjoyed doing them. I enjoy doing them for customers. It really does keep my mind occupied, and I hope you'll give it a try. And bottom line, I really hope, and it's a line that resonates with me, is that basically we are reimagining a glorious tradition. What we're doing is we're taking a strand of glass and weaving that into the fabric of who we are and where we live today. And it's never been more important to understand our roots and where we came from. So I hope you all agree, and I hope you'll check out the video. If you have any questions, I'm always here to answer. Just send me a personal message, or put a comment in this video. What I'm actually going to be doing after I sign off here is I'll probably take the video and I'll edit it a bit, and I'll slice in some more pictures of samples and examples of stuff you can make when you're doing tartans in glass.
That's it. Thank you, everybody, and happy National Tartan Day.
I think we need a scotch.
Bye. Oh, we were supposed to have some here.
Yeah, we forgot our scotch. Anyway, everybody have a great day.
Bye.
See you soon.